Tomorrow marks 9 years since a powerful F5 tornado ripped through the town of Parkersburg. It is one of the most memorable storms in Iowa history.
Tonight, Weather First Chief Meteorologist Terry Swails tells us the story of another historic tornado that hit eastern Iowa in 1974. It's a story you'll see only on CBS 2 News.
Well, eastern Iowa has a long storied history of destructive tornadoes, and they usually happen in the spring. But there's one exceptional storm that hit Ryan in Delaware County more than 30 years ago, and it's a storm that has never been duplicated.
The guys that blew the whistle probably saved, don't know how many. I've talked to a lot of people, and they heard the siren and they went to the basement.
It was a muggy August 12th day in 1974 when a rare F4 tornado slammed through the small farming community of Ryan, Iowa. With winds over 160 miles per hour, the tornado left the town of 350 people shaken and shocked. And for good reason. Tornadoes of this magnitude almost never occur in the month of August. In fact, there have been only 15 tornadoes in U.S. history during the month of August that have reached this magnitude. That puts it in a very special class. This is Cooper's Place. It's the heart and soul of Ryan, Iowa. You want to know anything about this town, especially the tornado of 1974, this is where you go. Brian OBERREUTER was just a kid when the tornado struck his family's farm. It was a little after 4 in the afternoon when he and his dad saw a line of ominous clouds churning on the horizon. Brian raced inside and grabbed his brand new Kodak 110 camera. These are the only known photos of the tornado taken that day.
I really don't know why I got the camera.
Yeah. You must have felt
there was something interesting there.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
the thing about it, you know, you got to realize this is 4:20 in the afternoon, and it's dark.
One of the special features of Brian's pictures were the multiple vortexes rotating within the tornado. Scientists had long surmised that the strongest tornadoes had these individual circulations embedded within the storm. These miniature tornadoes inside the funnel were responsible for localized but intense areas of destruction. At the time, it was rare to find pictures showing this phenomenon, which today is a well-known aspect of powerful tornadoes. Vince Wood was working that day at the lumber yard in town. He didn't realize a serious storm was approaching, but when he heard the sirens blaring, Vince was out the door.
We're shingling up here in this other town building. Anyway, they blew the siren, they saw it, and they blew the siren, and me being a fireman, I jumped in my van. I could see the swirls on the north side of it. I didn't slow down. The tornado was just multiple. It was just going just like this.
Turn it.
Yeah. And it just pulverized that ground. Up, I don't know how high that would have been, you know, 300-400 feet, but there was a piece of steel up there, a red piece of steel, and it was just floating on the top, just like a feather.
After the tornado blasted through, Vince raced back to the lumberyard to check on a co-worker who had stayed behind.
This is a picture of the lumberyard, you know, looking south here. And if you can look close here, this is where the car was that Ivan crawled underneath. And you can see the wheels there, and it's flipped up sideways. And all this debris here is what we pulled off the top of him.
The southern half of town was a wasteland. Houses reduced to rubble, foundations laid bare to the heavens. Some of the contents from homes were found as far away as Galena, Illinois. The school was destroyed, the Catholic church gutted. But amazingly, flowers from a recent wedding sat untouched on the church's altar. If there's one iconic image of the Ryan tornado, it's the Catholic church which was destroyed by the storm. What's left of the church is essentially the bell you see hanging behind me. It continues to ring here in Ryan to this very day. After the tornado, the cleanup was long and exhausting, but as small Iowa towns do, they worked hand in hand to restore their community.
It's just like when President Kennedy got shot, or this, or for the more current people, 9/11. You remember exactly what you were doing that day, where you were. You know, it's just a thing in your life.
It will never be forgotten, and fortunately there are people like Vince and Brian who have made it possible for this chapter in Ryan's history to be preserved for generations to come.
So chronologically, you were at home.
And in the 40 years since, there's never been another storm that's rivaled that day way back in August of 1970.